In Kenya, poultry farming is a big industry now. But while farmers continue to reap big from this agribusiness venture, several issues to do with poultry industry standards have been raised.
The industry has standards, but I think they are not well documented.
The World Animal Protection have developed a criteria through which broilers are actually supposed to be handled.
But the question is, how best can farmers uphold these standards?
Nyumba ya kuku nastahili kujenga ukuta wa 3 feet kutoka chini.
Venye umejenga nyumba yako, ventilation means a lot.
In this program, we are going to feature 2 farmers who are going to share their experiences in poultry farming. Welcome to the program. My name is Alex Chamwada. #Change4Chickens. The focus of our show today. But first, let's have the fact sheet.
On Fact Sheet this week, we look at an overview of poultry farming, which is the subject of our show today. Poultry refers to a variety of bird species. The most common one is chicken. Others include ducks, turkeys, geese, pigeons, ostriches, guinea fowls, and quails. Poultry farming is one of the fastest growing agricultural subsectors. Global figures show that China is the leading country in chicken rearing at 3 billion, followed by the United States at 1.9 billion. According to the World Animal Protection, 60 billion meat chicken are reared for global consumption each year. Data from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries indicate that Kenya has a bird population of over 31 million. Of these, 75% are indigenous chicken, 22% are broilers and layers, while the remaining 3% represent the breeding stock. Whereas the indigenous chicken are common in rural areas of Kenya, the commercial market demands that characterize the urban areas has created a shift to rearing of broilers and layers. For the Chamwada Report, I'm Michael Zimanji.
We start our show in Kandisi, Ongata Rongai, where we go through Margaret Wambua's diary. She decided to quit formal employment to venture into poultry farming. It's another working day for Margaret Wambua and her farmhand. This is what she has been doing for the last 4 years. The desire for self-employment saw her quit her job to start poultry farming.
Mimi nilianza na kuku 200. Na hiyo ilikuwa ni kama hiyo miaka 4 iliyopita. Nilikuwa na 60,000. So kwa hiyo 60,000 ndio niliweza kununua chicks, nikanunua feeds. By that time ni mimi nilikuwa nafanya mimi peke yangu. Sikuwa nimeajiri mtu. Kwa miaka 2 sikuweza kuandika mtu yoyote. Nikaongezea ikafika 300. Wakati silifika 300, hiyo nyumba ilikuwa 300, niliweza kukaa nikaona niongezee hiyo nyumba nifanye a little bit bigger number. So nikaongezea hiyo nyumba nikawa ninafanya 600. Kwa sasa ninafanya kama 1,700 at the same time. Hizi tunafanyia brooding ni 1,100 na sile siko almost ready to market ni 600. So kiongeza hizo unakuta ni 1,700.
Margaret is rearing broilers, which take about 35 days to be ready for market. They have a shorter maturity period as compared to layers, which take up to 6 months to start laying eggs. So if you perhaps want to venture into chicken rearing, broilers would give you quick cash, so to speak. But that would mean giving them total attention like Margaret does.
Wakati kuku siko hii kiasi ya 10 days and below, sinakula kilo 25. Sasa sinakula kilo 25 kwa siku. Lakini kila wakati ukaa nikiongezea lishe kama vile sinakuwa. Wakati siko na 28 days, after 21 days, siku ya 21, naanza kusipatia kilo 50 asubuhi, kilo 50 jioni. Na hiyo ni kwa kuku tu 600. Kitu kingine tunapatia vaccine. Na hii vaccine tunapatia ya ngumbulu na ya Newcastle. Hiyo ni kuzuia tu iwapo kutakuwa na ugonjwa isipate hizo kuku. Jambo la mwisho, tunapatia hizi kuku, tunasipatia kitu tunaita multivitamins. Wakati tunapatia multivitamins, inaisaidia ikue active na izuie magonjwa hata hivyo kuingia.
Disease control is key in chicken rearing. That's why in many poultry farms you'll find this food bath right at the entrance of a chicken house. Before entering the chicken house, it is important to dip your footwear to prevent entry of any disease into the chicken house and limit spread. And that's not all.
Wakati nilifunzwa kuhusu nyumba ya kuku, niliambiwa nyumba ya kuku nastahili kujenga ukuta wa 3 feet kutoka chini. Na nikijenga kutoka chini 3 feet, hapo pengine mpaka roofing ninaweka wire mesh. Ndio isaidie hewa inaingia na inatoka.
As Margaret puts it, proper hygiene and biosecurity measures should be implemented in a poultry farm. Otherwise, a poultry farmer may end up with increased production costs arising from cost of medication to huge losses experienced from low egg production in the case of layers and decreased growth rate for broilers. According to Margaret, it's important that you identify your market before starting to rear broilers. Like any other business, poultry farming has its fair share of challenges.
Kuna wakati mwingine unalisha kuku sinakaa muda mrefu, haujauza, sinakula, sina gain weight, na perhaps ninauza kuku zangu per kilo. Nimeweza overcome hizo challenges through interacting with other people, kwa sababu many times nina interact na watu wengi, nina exchange ideas, na then kupitia hiyo tena ninaweza kupata market kupitia hao. Unaona?
And that's how Margaret has managed to have the business running for 4 years now. And to those who wish to get a quick fix from chicken rearing, Margaret has some advice for you.
Shida kubwa nimeona na wakulima, tuna expect faida kubwa ikuja at the same time, lakini hatujui kama kuna process. Kuna process nisome, ni implement, ni initiate, nisome, nihakikishe hiyo kitu nimefanya penye inastahili, na at the same time nikuwe patient.
For now I keep 6,000 but in different bunches.
From Margaret Wambua's farm, we visit another farmer still in Rongai. Meet Caroline Dongo, a poultry farmer as well, but with a different story.
No, just tell me, how did you start?
Okay, I started back 2015 na nilianza na kienyeji which sikuwa serious nayo juu nilikuwa kuku zinataka mayai tunakula. It was not for business. Sasa nilikuwa natembelea rafiki yangu alikuwa ameweka broilers. Sasa nilikuwa na ka shop somewhere, nilikuwa nauza mayai sana. Sasa mwenye alikuwa ananiuzia mayai akaniuliza kama ningekuwa na kashamba somewhere in Rongai naweza weka nini kuku. Sasa layers, I started from there. Nikaleta layers 300. Yes, a bunch of 300. Sasa zikatagataga mayai, nilikuwa nauzia watu huku kwa shops Rongai. Alafu before zimalize nikaleta broilers. Broiler ni hizi za nyama 300 again. Sasa kube broilers they are short term. I didn't know. Layers they are long term. Zinaendanga 6 months. Ndio zianze kutaga mayai. Kwa hivyo you have to use a lot of money. Ni mfuko kutoa. Sasa broilers, okay, hata broilers zinatumianga pesa, but ni only 5 weeks ndio unapata pesa yako. Sasa from there venye niliingia kwa broilers, sijairudi nyuma.
And from 300 birds, the number has grown to 6,000. Indeed, Caroline is in good chicken rearing business.
There is no time my customer atanipigia uko na kuku sina. Kuna zenye tunachinja saa hii, after hizi ziishe kuna hizo. They are 3 weeks now. After next week, this week they'll be on pellet. Next week but one. Maybe tutapata hapo 1.2, 1.1, 1.3 by weekend, 1.5.
So for that farmer who is not so sure of the type of feed to use, what are some of the things that someone should consider before settling on a certain feed?
Feed. Okay, unaangalia where you are. Sana sana the ventilation about your venye umejenga nyumba yako. Ventilation means a lot. Kwa sababu kama unga kuna ingine inaitwa advance, you are not supposed kufunga sana. Unaona kama hii nyumba nimefunguanisha so that nikianza pellet sasa hewa ina flow everywhere. Kama hizi nilikuwa nimefunga the other side nikafunguanisha kwa sababu like now sahi kuna jua, you will experience a lot of waterberry and heart attack. Yes, we have so many problems with heart attack and waterberry because of chakula na nini jua, poor ventilation.
Okay.
Yes.
And so I see some pellets.
This is pellet. Pellet unaanza kutoka zikimaliza 21 days, then you start introducing easy pellet ama finisher mash for 3 days, then unaingia pellet. From there ukiingia pellet, hii ndio inaongezanga weight kwa kuku. After 1 week also umeanza kupata kuku zako 1.3, 1.4. Otherwise kama hutapea pellet hazitaweka weight. Niko na watu wa kuchinja wanakujanga wanachinja na natoanga kulingana na order. Kama niko na order ya 50 natoa 100 natoa kulingana venye order iko until ziishe. Sasa usiseme hakuna kazi. Just weka hata kama ni kienyeji, zipatie chakula, uza mayai, hata zijinunulie na zikupatie kakitu. Usiseme hakuna kazi.
Quite inspiring stories from farmers right here in Kandisi, Ongata Rongai. Well, at this point, we take a short break, but don't go far. Still to come.
Animal handling is a key thing.
There's a direct relationship between being food secure, being food safe, and taking care of animals.
Welcome back to the program. Remember, our hashtag is Change for Chickens. In this second part of the show, we are looking at the acceptable standards of poultry farming, the do's and don'ts. And that's why at this point, we want to engage the experts to learn the best practices of poultry farming.
When it comes to poultry industry standards, experts say Kenya is headed in the right direction, but there is room for improvement, especially on matters to do with legislation and best practices of chicken rearing.
What we are trying to do as World Animal Protection is to develop poultry industry standards. The industry has standards, but I think they are not well documented. So part of what we are doing is working with government, working with industry, to ensure that we have basic standards.
The World Animal Protection have developed a criteria through which broilers are actually supposed to be handled. One of the criteria is to ensure that the birds have got adequate and high quality diet during the production process, and also water, high quality water.
But what exactly is the status of poultry industry standards in Kenya?
My assessment is that we are not very far from the rest of the globe, especially the African countries. The most efficient chicken producers is South Africa. In fact, South Africa accounts for 1/3 of the African broiler meat production. And so that's the big ones. The other big ones in Africa would be places like Egypt, the North African countries that are also doing relatively well.
Just like other animals, chicken must go through routine vaccination and medication in case of any disease outbreak. But most importantly, farmers need acknowledge the fact that chicken welfare encompasses, among other things, appropriate shelter, adequate spacing, lighting, enrichment, correct feeds, and free flow of air. These are covered by the 5 fundamental freedoms of animals.
Around the environment, I think the big thing for me compared to the internationally is that our environment is relatively barren. Barren means that we are not providing the chicken with opportunity for it to express its natural behavior. A chicken will perch, a chicken will scratch, and will dust bathe. And if in most of our houses we don't have those perching facilities, which then means that our animals are not experiencing the 4th freedom, which is freedom to exhibit their natural behavior. The third big thing is freedom from pain, injury, and disease. And again, a good proportion of our farmers understand that chickens must be vaccinated, chicken houses must be washed, there must be disinfectants at foot bath at the point you're entering the chicken house. And at certain levels, they are also doing relatively good level of biosecurity and hygiene and sanitation methods.
Freedoms of animals are recognized globally. On 4th of October, Kenya joined the world in commemorating World Animal Day, a day when the world gathers to action for animal rights and welfare. The mission of World Animal Day is to raise the status of animals in order to improve the welfare standards around the globe. The first ever commemoration was held in Sport Palace in Berlin in the year 1925.
This is the day which is celebrated even in some churches in the US and Europe in recognition of a Catholic saint who's called St. Francis of Assisi. This is a person who paid a lot of attention on welfare of animals and the environment.
One of the key highlights that came up from the celebrations that were held at the Kenya National Theatre was the call for an end to animal cruelty in its entirety.
One good practice that farmers must ensure is to feed the animal very well, and you feed them with the appropriate nutrition or diet. Because when animals grow, they go through different stages of growth. The feed you give a chicken at day old, you cannot give to the chicken when it's mature. So you have to recognize that. And you need to make sure that the animal is able to express its natural behavior, because that will give you an animal that produces good quality products for you, and hopefully you can get a good price. But more importantly, we are saying the animal deserves a good life. It's not only because the animal is contributing to your own development that you should take care of the animal. The animal is a sentient being. It has to be taken care of. And there is a responsibility that you and I, those of us who own animals, who keep animals, for whatever reason, that we have to make sure we give our animals a good life.
Back to Kandisi, where farmers like Margaret Wambua and Caroline Dungu are now moving into commercial poultry farming. However, the biggest challenge to this venture remains the issue of feeds availability, feed quality, feed prices, and disease control.
Essentially, this is because our food that goes into the production system, whether it's dairy or chickens or pigs, is a maize-based diet. And you and I know the challenges we've had just feeding ourselves with maize and the maize debate that keeps going on. So that's the biggest one. The second biggest one is disease. And disease to me is a question of improper management and improper handling. And to some extent, the structures in which we put the animals in. We find that sometimes the chicken shed, if I'm using chicken shed has not been built appropriately. It is not ventilated well, and that then has challenges because of poor ventilation leading to respiratory problems, and that is seen as mortality.
A big challenge here in Kenya is that most birds are actually fed 24 hours. Actually, these birds are basically machines because they never see darkness. Even at night, they are exposed to light. So the conventional practice, what is required, the standard is that you expose them to some darkness at night so that they rest. They digest or you convert the feed that they had already taken.
On their part, farmers have a huge role to play to ensure that they not only embrace better handling of chickens, but also make the poultry farming a profitable venture.
So number one is just having a good plan and ensuring that you provide everything that you require. The second thing is then to also ensure that you have well-trained workers who understand the system and can easily be able to adjust when there's a problem in the system. The third thing is also to then have a good health plan. And health plans are developed by being in conjunction with either a good veterinarian, and in this country the chick suppliers and at certain levels the feed suppliers do offer good extension services. I think the last one, which for me is very important, is the farmer also needs to have some level of record keeping so that the farmer is able to tell when they're losing, when there's been a mortality.
Animal handling is a key thing. A lot of handling issues come much later in the production process. when these birds are being harvested, taken for slaughter. Now, these are the places the birds have to be caught. Somebody have to go in and catch them. If you can imagine what happens in the villages when people want to catch a bird, they really have to run after a bird for several minutes. Now, a similar thing, if you don't know how to catch these birds in this housing, you may actually injure them. And those injuries, they are coming much late because they will result into downgrade in the abattoir. You will not get that premium price. And if you don't transport them well in the trucks or the lorries, because birds are supposed to be transported in crates, there could be accidents, and therefore you lose all the birds. Or they could be, you have seen how some people transport birds in Kenya with in vehicle carriers and bicycles and all. Those are all challenges. When these birds are taken for slaughter, the quality of the material meat that is obtained from such a bird is going to be poor, and therefore they are not going to fetch the higher price. Now, that is the loss that the farmer is incurring much later in the production process, which can be avoided if we trained these farmers on how to catch the birds.
Even as the world champions for change for chickens, experts agree that there is a huge connection between the animals and human health. In fact, humans have a long relationship with farm animals, and how we handle them impacts on our lives. Among the things that should be used sparingly and only when needed is antibiotics.
The use of antibiotics, I'll say, it originates from our own lack of understanding that we have to keep these animals in good welfare. It is always said prevention is better than cure, and in any case prevention is cheaper than cure. But what has been happening is that because you keep these animals in very poor condition, they easily develop diseases. The result is that they have to be treated. And that is where now the use of antibiotics come in. And so we use too many antibiotics on these animals in the name of treating them.
Animal welfare is a development problem. If you approach animal welfare from a development perspective, the whole argument that we are having, the problem of it being Western, will actually go away. Because society, from a food security perspective, we will have better food. We'll have a healthier nation. We'll have a healthier population in Africa if we take care of our animals, because there's a direct relationship between being food secure, being food safe, and taking care of animals. If we help animals, we are helping ourselves.
Animals are there for us to use, particularly consume or do whatever they can do for us, but they're created in such a manner that if you torment them, then the reaction that happens biologically in them works against you.
And that marks the end of our show. I do hope that you've learned something about fundamental freedoms of animals, and in this case, poultry. On behalf of the entire Chams Media team that has worked on this particular program, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye from Kandisi in Ongatarongai.